Genesis 14. And it came to pass on the days of the Amphrael king of Sinnar, Patriarch king of Elsar, and Cherdorlaomer king of Elam, the title king of nations, that these made war with Abram king of Sodom and with Bersha king of Gomorrah, Sinab king of Adam, and Semer king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela, which is Zoar. All these were joined together in the vale of Siddim, which is the Salt Sea. 12 years at 12 years they served Cherdolamer, forgive me, and in the 13th year they rebelled. And in the 14th year came Cherdolamer and the kings that were with him, and smote the Rephaims in Ashtaroth and Carnaim, and the Zunims in Ham, and their Emims in the Shaviv Kirathaim, and the Horites in their Mount Seir unto El Paran, which is by the wilderness. And they returned and came in Mishpat, which is Kadesh, and smote all the country of the Alchemites, and also the Amorites that dwell in the Hazaron Tamor. And there went out the king of Sodom, and the king of Gomorrah, and the king of Admah, and the king of Zeboim, king of Bela, and the same as Zor, and they joined battle with them in the vale of Siddim. With Chedorlaomer, the king of Elam, with the title kings of nations, Amariel king of Sinhar, and the Atriot king of Elasar, 4 kings with 5, and the vale of Siddim was full of slime pits, and the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah fled and fell there. And they that remained fled to the mountains, and they took all the goods of Sodom and Gomorrah, and all their victuals, and went their way. And they took Lot, Abraham's brother's son, who dwelt in Sodom, and his goods, and departed. And there came one that had escaped, and told Abraham the Hebrew, for he dwelt in the plain of Marim, the Amphorite brother of Eshcol, and the brother of Aner. And these were confederate with Abram. And when Abram heard that his brother was taken captive, he armed his trained servants born in his house, 318, and pursued them unto Dan. And he divided himself against them, he and his servants, by night, and smote them, and pursued them unto Haban, which is one of the left hands of Damascus. He brought back all the goods, and all brought against his brother Lot, and his goods, and the women also, and the people. And the king of Sodom went out to meet him after his return from the slaughter of Chedorlaomer, and of the kings that were with him at the valley of Shaveh, which is the King Dale, and the Mesodeek king of Salem brought forth bread and wine. And he was the priest of the Most High God, and he blessed him, and said, Blessed be Abraham, the Most High God, possessor of the heaven and the earth, and blessed be the Most High God, which hath delivered thine enemies unto thy hand, and gave him tithes of all. And the king of Sodom said unto Abram, Give me the persons and take thy goods to thyself. And Abram said to the king of Sodom, I have lifted up mine hand unto the Lord, the Most High God, the possessor of heaven and earth, that will take from a thread of the show latchet and that will not take anything that is thine, lest thou shouldst say, I have made Abram rich, save only that which the young men have eaten, and the portion of the men which went with me, Honor, Escol, and Mari, let them take a portion. Genesis 14. In this chapter, Abram acts with such overwhelming, jaw dropping military power and receives such high spiritual honors that he looks less like a simple nomadic herder and more like a mythic, godlike warrior king. Genesis 14 is a massive action chapter that reads like an ancient international geopolitical thriller. Here's the context behind what happens. Up until now, Abram has been a quiet wanderer, but in chapter 14, the wilder ancient Near Eastern world explodes into a massive regional war. A powerful alliance of four super kings of Mesopotamia, modern day Iraq and Iran, march west to crush a rebellion by an alliance of five local kings in the Dead Sea region, including the king of Sodom. The Mesopotamian invaders absolutely tear through the region, sack Sodom, and carry off all the wealth and peoples as captives. The texts drop a catastrophic update in verse 12. They capture Lot, Abram's nephew, who was living in Sodom. When a fugitive escapes and tells Abraham that his nephew has been taken, Abraham doesn't panic or try to bargain. He instantly mobilizes. The text notes that Abraham has 318 trained armed men born in his own household. This gives us a massive clue about the sheer scale of Abraham's encampment. He isn't traveling with a small family, he is running a massive, wealthy clan capable of fielding its own private militia. Abram tracks the victorious four allied armies all the way to the northern border of Canaan, where he executes a brilliant modern nighttime ambush, splits his forces, and completely routs the enemy coalition and chases them past Damascus. He successfully rescues Lot, all the people, and recovers every single piece of stolen property. When Abraham returns victorious, he is met by one of the most enigmatic and mysterious characters in the entire Bible. Melchizedek? Oh man, I gotta figure out how to pronounce that. Melchizedek.
Melchizedek.
Melchizedek. Melchizedek. When Abraham returns victorious, he is met by one of the most enigmatic, mysterious characters in the entire Bible, Melchizedek, the king of Salem, the ancient name for Jerusalem. Melchizedek's name literally means king of righteousness. He is uniquely described as both a king and a priest of the Most High God. He brings out bread and wine, blesses Abram, and says, "Blessed be Abram, the Most High God, possessor of heaven and earth, and blessed be the Most High God, which hath delivered thine enemies into thy hand." Notice the grammar. Melchizedek is explicitly blessing Abraham by the authority of the Most High God. Abraham is the recipient of God's favor, not the deity himself. In response, Abraham gives Melchizedek, Melchizedek, the
Melchizedek,
Melchizedek, a tenth, a tithe of all his spoils of war as an act of spiritual honor. While they don't call him God in chapter 4, if you fast forward slightly to Genesis 23, the local Hittite leaders explicitly tell Abraham how they viewed him, using language that can be easily misread. "Hear us, my Lord, thou art a mighty prince among us." In original Hebrew, the phrase translated as mighty prince is the literal Nasi Elohim, which translates directly to a prince of God or a divine prince. To the surrounding pagan nations, Abraham's ability to crush four massive imperial armies with just 318 household servants was physically impossible. They assumed that he had supernatural shield over him. They did not worship Abraham as a god, but they treated him with immense, fearful respect because they knew the true creator of heaven and earth was backing his every move. Really cool. One more time.
Melchizedek,
Melchizedek.